All right, here we go again, guys. Still in that hotel room here in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. Another shit hot day in this miserable bastard of a state. I don't know how people live here on purpose, but it is so hot outside. It sucks. It sucks. So, yesterday's video was pretty intense. I was kind of irritated yesterday, to be honest, but it was met with some pretty positive reviews, and I appreciate you guys for that. I really do. So I figured, I had said that I wanted to do some funny videos. So one of the things I do in my life is I mix in personal stories with my career because I want the guys to know that I'm an actual human, and I make horrible, horrible mistakes at times. Giant blunders on an epic proportion. So here's one of these interesting little stories from my life. So one of the more recent ones, we'll go there. So right before I quit drinking, my brother and I were moving all of my stuff out of my house in Indiana. This was the last trip up there, and it was a bit of a somber trip. And it was my brother Bobby and I. We cruised from Midland, Texas, which from Midland to Indiana is a pretty long haul. So we decided to stop for the night in Memphis. And while we were there in Memphis, Tennessee, we decided we'd go down a little bar there at the hotel, have a couple drinks. While we're there, we're outside smoking a cigarette, and we noticed these little bird scooters. So, for us, two delinquents that constantly are in pursuit of doing dumb and ridiculous things while drinking, we decide that, well, tonight's probably not the night because we got shit to do. But on the way back, we're going to intentionally stop in Memphis, Tennessee, and we're going to ride them scooters, and we're going to do some drinking and riding, and it's going to be a good time. And we plan this whole event, plan this whole way up there to Indiana. While we're there, we get everything into the storage units, and we're heading back. We're hauling ass. All right, we got a plan. Got ourselves a plan. We're gonna check into this hotel, and we're gonna jump on these bird scooters, and we're gonna cruise around the city. I would love to tell you that's where the story stopped. I would love to tell you it was just an innocent night of shenanigans where nothing went wrong. But since you know me, we all know that's not true. So we proceed to cruise downtown Memphis to Beale Street, which I recommend you check it out, but I've been told that it is rather dangerous, so you might want to make sure you're out of there before dark hits, and you'll realize some of the reasons behind this. But definitely go check it out because there's some awesome music down there. It's a hell of a lot of fun before the sunset. But start out our night there at the Hard Rock, couple drinks, have some food. We notice all kinds of stuff going on right there at the mouth of Beale Street. There's people doing flips and all kinds of crazy nonsense going on, and we hear live music, and it's getting loud. You can hear people cheering, so we start to follow the noises. We end up at this open venue where there's this great blues band, and they really tore it up, and we get ourselves a couple beers, and these were small beers, mind you. By small, I mean they were like a foot tall, but hell, that ain't gonna put me down. Back then, I could drink, but so we start out. Everything's going pretty well, and we're just working our way down the street. And hell, next thing you know, we're at this open air bar, and listening to music. People are throwing money, and it's getting crazy, and we're drinking and buying drinks for everybody, and in a moment of, in an act of kindness and oppositional defiance, which is something I'm an expert in, there was a rather large group of homeless people that hung out in the bar next to the open air bar, and it is completely forbidden to buy the homeless people drinks, but I don't listen very good, so I start doing that, and I start drinking with all these homeless people because, well, hell, why not, right? We do that for a couple hours, and we go to another bar, and another bar, and another bar, and last thing I really remember before it gets hazy is We went into a daiquiri bar, and I don't know what they put in those daiquiris to go, but after that, the night got real fuzzy. Like, it faded in and out pretty good. There's large gaps of time that have consequently disappeared. And since now time is disappearing, so did my brother. I have no idea where this asshole took off. He just vanished. So I'm looking around for him. Looking up and down all the blocks, and I notice in my little party of people that are following me, I didn't realize they were following me at the time, but by the time I noticed, I had picked up these two German dudes that somehow thought that I spoke German. I probably said some shit in German at the bar, drunk like an asshole, and that's why they probably believed that. But also, paired with them two people were two ladies. Relatively attractive ladies. You know, I don't know, it was dark and I was drunk, and, you know, and they were with them. So we're looking around looking for Bobby, and, you know, continuing to drink, you know, trying to find Bobby, and can't find him. Well, we get all the way back down to where the original live music was at the mouth of Beale Street there, and still can't find this dude. And one of these girls looks at me and says, "Well, hey, your friends aren't paying me, so you need to pay." I said, "Do what?" She said, "Yeah, you need to pay. We're working girls." Like, well, I'm not paying for shit. Like, I didn't hire you. I don't know these two fuckers either. So, you know, you gotta sort that shit out with them. And just about the end of that conversation, a giant black SUV pulls up with a rather agitated man. I'm not going to imply that he was their handler or anything of the sort, but I would gather he was some sort of management. And he starts to yell and demand that I pay. I tried to explain the situation. I was like, look, them girls are following them dudes, and they were following me, and I don't know. I don't speak German, whatever they're doing. I was like, I'm not going to pay you, Jack. Like, I'm not going to do that. These girls got it confused. Like, you know, whatever. And I start to leave, and he's shouting and going all ballistic and getting pretty upset. So I felt that, you know, at the time, you know, it's probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning now, and I felt that it was probably necessary to leave the area with haste. So I start working my way back down the street towards that daiquiri bar, and I'm still looking for Bobby. I can't find this bastard anywhere. And I ended up running into a cop, which usually doesn't go good for me, especially while I've been drinking. It usually goes pretty poorly for me. And luckily this cop had a sense of humor and made him laugh. So I asked him for a ride to my hotel, and he said, "Well, do I look like an Uber to you, son?" I said, "Well, no, sir, but we really have two options at this point. You can take me to county jail for public intoxication, or you can be really cool and take me back to my hotel." So this guy looks at me and he says, "Get in the back of the car." And I thought, oh, shit. This dude's taking me to jail. I just volunteered to go to jail. But he didn't. Took me back to the hotel. And that's where I probably should have stopped. I should have stopped. I should have stopped right there. But while I was at the hotel, I remembered, aha! I got a whole cooler full of beer in the back of my truck. And here's some of these people we were drinking with downtown. So we go to the truck and start drinking more beer. And while we're there drinking more beer in the back of the truck, you know, security keeps coming out and eyeballing us and kind of giving us the business. And finally we run out of beer and we part ways. And you know, this guy's following me, acting like I'm some kind of criminal or something. And you know, I don't like that shit, especially when I've been drinking, or back then when I was drinking. I really don't like it when you accuse me of anything, because, well, hell, I'm a paying customer and I'm just trying to have a good time. And this guy was kind of being a dick. So while he's following me back to my room to ensure that I stay at this hotel, I decide, well, I'm going to be a real asshole. I take this statue, this bust, and I don't know who it was, but it was on this giant marble pillar. There was a bust of some historical figure of some sort, and I decide I'm going to drag this son of a bitch back to my room. Meanwhile, he's yelling from the end of the hallway to tell me to stop doing it, and I drag it all the way to my room and I put it in there. Well, he didn't come try to retrieve it or anything. And I felt that it looked better in my room, which, you know, obviously pretty inappropriate. But I had a knack for rearranging hotel rooms. That was kind of a hobby of mine when I'd be in different cities, and I always left tips and shit. But, you know, I'd build forts out of all the furniture and just kind of, you know, leave things in a silly disarray kind of thing. But I turn around from dragging this heavy ass statue through the door, and I look over, and there's Bobby sleeping on his damn bed. I had spent 3 or 4 hours looking for this asshole, almost got killed by a pimp, followed around by 2 Germans and 2 hookers, almost taken to jail, harassed by security, and this son of a bitch is back here slumbering like a little princess. So, moral of that story there is, if you're going to go out drinking with your boys, make sure you know where the hell your boys are. Especially in a city like Memphis, Tennessee. It's a hell of a time, but definitely keep an eye on your boys, especially if they wander off, like Bobby Sickler, watching you, son of a bitch. I'll never drink with you again. That's kidding. I don't drink anymore anyway, but yeah, you owe me one for this one. Alright, that's all I got, guys. Stay safe, have fun, you know, document your life. It's an adventure, even if it's good, bad, or other, it's still an adventure, and hell, sometimes these stories need to be told to give people a laugh. Sometimes they mean, you know, they need to be told to be a cautionary tale. So, I hope a lot of my videos help, or at least give you a chuckle. But more to come. I'm going to keep trying to churn out some gems and have a good time with it. So, love you guys. Stay safe. Have fun. See ya.